This is the Freeheel Life podcast, episode number 58. I'm your host, Josh Madsen, coming at you from the Freeheel Life shop in Salt Lake City, Utah. And it's Monday morning, everybody. I'm back, and I've got a great new episode for you today. This one I'm really excited about because I'm going to have some good friends of mine on. And we actually got to do it in person, too. So before I get into that, some newsroom and notes. Craig Dostie has put up a new simple Telemark binding guide on telemarkskier.com. So be sure to check that out. We're trying to dig in a little more to some of these topics that are good not only for the advanced skier but the beginner, and just some more resources and added value to you guys. For those people that are on Facebook, we've got our Freeheel Life group on there. Make sure to become a part of that. Not everybody's part of that, so we're trying to tackle as many of the platforms as possible. On that note of platforms, I did change our YouTube address to Freeheel Life for those who care. You may not even notice, because if you're subscribed on there already, it's not going to matter. But we're just trying to simplify everything. It's not that Telemark Skier Magazine is going away, but what we're trying to do is really bring Telemark Skier Magazine as more of a product and an entity under Freeheel Life as a whole. So, yeah, all one family, and just kind of tightening things up a little bit. So hopefully that all makes sense. As far as that YouTube channel goes, a couple things. Make sure to subscribe to it. We do put most of that stuff on Instagram TV if you follow us on the Instagram. But we do have a fun December edit from the shop crew coming up. And finally getting out. There's enough snow for us to kind of start shooting video, doing some more on the slope stuff. So that's a purely stoke-ridden video that's going to be coming out. So if you like powder skiing and telly turns, that's the one. I've also got a new review of the Volet Manti that I did that's going to be coming out, and hopefully you'll check that out. So we just don't want you to miss stuff that we're putting out, whether you're on Instagram or Facebook or the website or whatever. We're just trying to get it as many of the places as possible, just to make sure you know what's up. The easiest way too is also just sign up for our mailing list. There's a link in the show notes, and we send a weekly newsletter out that kind of aggregates all of the content into one place. And that's a fantastic way for you guys to keep in touch with us, know more about sales going on, product videos, and all of the different features that we have, like the lowdown with Taylor Johnson, Dostie's View, for all you gear nerds out there. And it's good. We're firing through a bunch of stuff and hope you guys are enjoying it. And yeah, we can't wait to do more. We're just trying to do our best. So, leave comments, let us know what we're doing. And you can always reach out to the shop at customer service at freeheellife.com with any of your Telemark questions as things come up. So today, oh man, this is a good one. He was born in Spearfish, South Dakota, and later moved to Salt Lake City, Utah. He grew up skateboarding and picked up skiing through an elementary school program where they took the students to the hill for lessons. As he got into high school, he stopped skiing and got into lowrider cars. This meant winters were spent more inside of a garage than out on the hill. It wasn't until he picked up a job doing custom flooring with his neighbor that he was reacquainted with skiing and ultimately with telemark skiing. His son is 11 years old. He started telemark skiing with his dad, Travis, after renting some kids' telemark gear from Freeheel Life over the past few years. He's become a proficient freeheel skier managing advanced and expert terrain. He loves skateboarding and spends time at the skate park and the mountains with his dad. So please welcome Travis and Dylan Bellantino. All right, guys, welcome to the Freeheel Life podcast. How's it going?
Good, man. Good to be here.
It's weird to see people in person. We're masked up in the shop, so we're playing it safe. But I've been talking to people on the phone for months, so it's kind of weird. No,
dude, it's good to be in here for sure. Good to get Dylan out of the house.
I know. I'm stoked. Yeah, you're. Are you back in school, or are you?
I'm homeschooling.
He's homeschooling it. So
homeschooling it. How are you doing with the homeschool, brother?
It's difficult.
It's kind of difficult. It's just, it's just hard to keep him kind of motivated. It's just kind of one of them kids. He just wants to get out and go and do things and play video games and all that stuff. But no, he's doing all right for the most part. So that's good.
That's good, man. Well, I'm glad you guys could make it in. You guys have, you've been one of the longtime supporters of the shop. So I'm psyched that we actually, I want to say you're like the first customer. If that's
dude, that's awesome. No, that's good to hear, man. I mean, dude, I've been following this place since day one. So when you were here pumping in all those late nights, doing stuff to the floors, the walls, building this place up, man, I was a part of that. I feel, I watched it go up from the ground. So, the second the door opened, dude, I had to be in here, dude, just to see what it was all about. And always being a big fan of Teleskier Mag, I was always stoked to meet you and JT and the boys. So it's just been a real honor to be a part of this and be involved. So, dude, it's cool.
That's awesome. No, that's fun to hear, man.
Hell yeah.
I appreciate that. I know, and it's always funny when we got started. Yeah, I just think you literally saw like things getting built. Probably not very good. Because you are a craftsman of your own trade. So
yeah.
I always laugh when I'm like, I look at some of the shelves we build or something like that, and I'm like, oh geez, this is so crazy.
Dude, you haven't seen our workshop, I mean, it's a shop, you got to throw stuff together. It's gonna get beat up, it is what it is, dude. So you guys are slaying it.
We're hanging it. So, yeah, luckily we got Wyatt on board, our ski tech now, so he actually seems to have a nice knack for construction.
No, I talked with him on the phone last night, so that was good. Yeah,
I love that.
Heck yeah.
Well, Dylan, I guess kind of to give people a little background, tell people how old you are. And so let's start there. How old are you, brother?
11 years old.
11 years old. Here, come up a little closer to the mic. There you go.
11 years old.
Yeah, buddy. And I think, when did you, we'll get into the whole story, but I think, how old were you when you first came in here? Maybe like
8.
8 years old?
Yeah, probably 7.5, 8 years old. I mean, I know I drug him in here with me one of them first times I came down, but yeah, dude.
Wow.
8 years old.
That's so crazy. That seems like a lifetime ago, doesn't it?
Dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, I know, and now we were laughing because you're almost as tall as your dad now, so that's good. You guys been skateboarding a bunch, I see.
Yes. A lot.
Yeah. How often do you go skateboarding?
Every week.
Every week? Nice.
Old man goes every damn day, but this kid, I try to get him out as much as I can. I go in the mornings before work. That's just how I get my day started. But yeah, this kid, he gets out at least 2-3 times a week. He skates at home a bit too. So
yeah. That's awesome, man. Yeah. So you, what kind of are you guys mostly skating the bowls and stuff at the skate park?
Yeah.
What's your favorite part about the skate park?
Flowing through it, going fast, getting big air.
Yeah, and it's funny because me being an old schooler, I kind of started him off kind of skating transition and stuff, but as he's moved on and grown with it, he's kind of got more oriented with street skating and stuff. He's got a couple of friends and stuff he skates with and starting to focus more on getting that kick flip now and ollieing off of stuff and all that kind of fun stuff. All the tricks are starting to flow together now, which has been fun for me to watch. I mean, it's crazy.
No, it is crazy because I don't even think you were dropping in to the vert until like last year, right?
Yeah, he dropped into the vert bowl on Go Skateboarding Day this summer in June.
That was
amazing. Like a proud moment for me, dude. I was so stoked.
I remember seeing that.
I was about in tears when he dropped into that bowl, dude.
That's so awesome. How was that, Dill? Like, I mean... And I always say, like, I wish I was a better skater, but I know dropping into something like that is not easy. What was the hardest part about dropping into a bowl like that?
It just takes time because it's always stuck in your head. But you just got to remember, it's kind of like if you do it, you do it.
You do it, yeah.
Yep.
You know, and I always tell him, I'm that guy in the, over his shoulder. I try not to push him too hard, but I'm like, dude, you dropped into South Chute last season, bro. This ain't nothing, bro. You got this. You know?
Totally. Totally. Do you guys see do you see some similarities, like when you're like learning how to telly, learning how to skateboard? I mean, you're kind of getting into them at the same time, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
What do you think scarier, skateboarding or telemark skiing?
Both of them are pretty scary, but you both can do it.
You can do both. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
Both.
you just got to put your mind to it, right, D?
Yep.
I mean, it's one of them things, you know.
I love that. Well, and Travis, I kind of know your story, but I think that's one part of the reason I wanted to get you on here, because I think, like a lot of us, you have a pretty unique story
dude,
about.
It's pretty wild, you know. Yeah.
Tell the people like how telemark, because it. I mean, you grew up in Salt Lake. We're about the same age, so and I always love I love your history, because like you grew up like some of that, you were like into like lowrider culture
dude,
and
I
stuff
come
in the
from
90s, dude.
A totally different background than any other telemark skier in this world, I'm sure, dude. I mean, nobody in my family really skis, you know. They all kind of think I'm crazy, and to be a telemark skier, you know.
Yeah.
It's cool though, dude. I love it, you know. It's fun.
Yeah, I mean, so you grew up like, yeah, kind of the same time in Salt Lake, and like I said, you were into cars, right? Like that was your thing growing up.
So, dude, originally I was born in Spearfish, South Dakota, 1978, and my father, he passed away at a young age. So after my father's death, yeah, we moved to Salt Lake City, and that's when life really began for me. So, grew up. I was never really into sports or anything like that. I mean, Mom was a single mother, and I got into skateboarding, dude. Skateboarding was my thing, you know, and skated all the way through, junior high school. And that's kind of when I started skiing, was in junior high school. My mom put me in a ski school program through Brighton. It was through my elementary school. And back then, we actually went, it was one day a week for the whole winter long. I mean, I did that all through junior high school, and I was an Alpine skier, and I remember starting out on skinny skis and I remember working my way up to the expert level. And then when I got into high school, unfortunately, skiing and skateboarding kind of became a thing of the past. I got into cars and lowriders, which in a sense was a blessing, because growing up in Kearns, it was kind of a rough time. There was a lot of bad shit going on, and the car thing kind of kept me out of trouble. Unfortunately, my winter times were spent in the garage working on cars, and the summers were spent, we'd go to the Las Vegas Super Show, we'd go to Arizona, we'd tour around, every car show here in the valley, of course. But that's what I did, and it wasn't too long after getting out of high school, I got a job as a wood floor technician, and that's when skiing turned back on. It's a pretty wild story, man. But yeah, that's when I started skiing again, and that's when telemark became a part of my life.
Yeah, and it was, I know, starting that floor job, that kind of introduced you to your buddy.
Yeah, no, that's kind of a crazy story. So I was kind of in between jobs at the time, and was building a deck at my mom's house, and this neighbor guy, he was kind of a different dude. I talked to him a few times here and there, but we weren't really that close. He was just the neighbor guy, but he was kind of a hippie dude. He was cool, man, but it was kind of funny how that turned on. But yeah, I built a deck at Mom's house, and he came over one day to check the progress, and he was like, dude, wow, that's awesome, man. You want a job? And that's how it happened, dude. I got a job. I worked with him for a few years, and he was a damn good dude. He ended up getting cancer, and he passed away. And dude, I'm gonna tell you right now, he was probably one of the most aggressive telemark skiers I've ever seen to this day. I mean, he caught my attention. I mean, when he passed, I felt that I owed it to him to learn that turn, and by God, I did.
That's amazing. And that's CJ.
That's CJ.
So CJ was kind of the hippie dude next door.
Yes, he was, dude. And it's funny, working with him, he got me the job, and I was green, dude. I mean, I didn't know shit about construction, dude. I didn't know the difference between a door jamb and a doorknob, hardly. It was kind of crazy. I worked with my hands, though. That was the thing. Working with cars taught me. I was real good at working with my hands, and he saw that, and He did, dude. He really shaped me up, man, because he taught me a lot of important life lessons, you know, because growing up in Kearns, I was kind of one-sided, you know. I kind of saw life as one way, you know, and going out with him, I really did, dude. I got to see things in a whole new perspective, you know, as far as music, and it's wild, but yeah, dude, and he did. It's just a funny story, so I'll kind of get into it real quickly, dude. He starts talking skiing with me one day, and frickin', I kind of started getting pumped. I was like, yeah, you know, I used to ski, you know, and yada yada. So that weekend, dude, I went and rented some gear, and I got my girlfriend all set up. She's my wife now, but I got her all set up, and we went to Brighton, and frickin', it's funny, dude. I skied. I took a lesson. It's funny. I put my wife in a lesson, and I get in a lesson with her, you know, and then the instructor's like, so have you skied before, yada yada? I'm like, yeah, I've skied before. She's like, I'll make a couple of turns. So I make a couple of turns. She's like, oh, get out of here, go play. So that day, dude, I did. I went skiing by myself. My wife took the lesson. Well, I get home that night, and I was being pretty cocky, you know. I go over to CJ's house and hooting and hollering about how I had this day at Brighton, and dude, I didn't even fall once. And CJ's like, oh, right on, man, so you can ski, huh? I'm like, yeah, dude. So I shit you not, that next week, and CJ's like, well, let's go skiing.
Oh, no.
And dude, I will never forget this. It was the most humbling experience of my life, dude. He took me skiing, boy. Dude, we go to Alta. I took my wife, or my girlfriend at the time, took her with us. We put her in a lesson. We get on Wildcat, and we get off Wildcat, dude, off the top, you know, and I watch CJ, dude. He flies off the cat track, this hauling ass, lands in moguls. It wasn't smooth powder. He lands in the moguls and just stomped the shit out of him, dude. I've never seen a guy ski like that before. I mean, he dropped knee. I swear he turned on every one of them. He slammed a knee on every one of them damn things, dude. I thought he was going to break his equipment, dude. I am not kidding you. It was nuts. So then I was just like, oh, shit. What did I get myself into? So we ski Wildcat, get down to Germania at the time, and takes me down the high T. And I'll tell you what, man, coming from Brighton to Alta, dude, wow. That's where the humbling experience, dude.
That's a big jump.
It's a big step, dude. So we're cruising down the high T, and he's kind of ahead of me, and I'm trudging along like, holy shit, looking down at the view and looking down at the city, and I'm thinking, wow, this is gnarly. And we get around the corner, dude, and CJ vanishes. And I don't know what the hell happened if I tripped over my feet, but I ragdolled all the way down Stonecrusher to the very bottom, dude. And CJ comes up to me at the lift, like, dude, what the hell happened? I'm like, dude. And I don't know, dude, just that whole day I was just eating shit all day long, dude. We get off Supreme. He takes me into Supreme Bowl, dude. And I remember getting into some chute, and I watched CJ bomb down this thing, and he's like, all right, go. And I'll never forget, dude. I drop in, I start to go, and he's like, turn. Boom! Right into the rock wall, dude, and yard sale. And he's just shaking his head. So, dude, I get home that night, and I'm just like, holy shit, dude. I have a lot to learn, you know, straight up.
So you were on Alpine skis?
Yeah, I was.
Day.
I was on Alpine skis.
Did you, I mean, he was on tellies, but did you, like, recognize that? Did he?
No, I didn't recognize shit. I just knew he was on some crazy skis. He was on K2 215s with leather boots, dude.
Oh, geez.
You know what I mean? I didn't have a clue. I just thought it looked pretty damn cool.
It wasn't like, and because I always think that's interesting because it's almost like people that, if you really just don't know, it's almost like you don't register, like, you know that the turn looks different and that they're dropping their knee, but it's like, I mean, the average person is probably just like, oh, that's weird looking. And then they don't really think about what it is, you know? So
yeah,
it sounds like that's kind of what it was like.
In a sense, but at the same time, dude, I thought it was awesome, dude. You know, and even before then, I've always had kind of this love for the mountains. And when I seen him do that, dude, I was just blown away, dude. I don't know what it was, but, you know, after he passed, it was just like, dude, I have to learn how to do this.
So while he was alive, you didn't actually tell Ellie?
No, dude.
Oh, wow.
Not at all.
Oh, crazy.
No, I went skiing. It was kind of a shitty deal. So I went skiing with him that one time, and then shortly after that is when he got cancer, dude.
Oh, wow. I didn't realize it was that short a period.
Oh, no, dude. I only skied. I skied with him a couple of times, but the one time he didn't have cancer, and the other time I did ski with him, he was in remission. So that cancer took up
pretty quick.
A year probably close to 2 years of his life, you know. So
wow.
it was crazy. It was an experience, you know, because I lost my dad to cancer as well. So frickin' kind of seeing how that went down kind of really opened up my eyes to what my mom had gone through and what CJ had gone through, you know, kind of what my dad probably went through, you know. So it was kind of a crazy experience, dude. I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
Well, so once CJ had passed away, like you basically kind of decided you were going to take up Telemark then and kind of like...
Oh, I didn't decide. I knew it, dude. I was going to do that shit.
Yeah.
Straight up, dude. Yeah, dude, when I found out he passed, I drove to Little Cottonwood Canyon, and sorry, dude.
That's okay.
It's kind of tough for me to talk about this shit because I don't talk about it too much, you know. But I did. I drove to Little Cottonwood. I sat down by the creek, and I probably sat there for a good hour, dude, and just thought about things, you know. And I was like, you know what, dude, I'm gonna do this, you know. And it was a life-changing experience for me, just his death and everything, dude. His wife was gonna lose the house. I ended up buying his house, and dude, what came with that, dude, it was just amazing, dude. I don't know, dude. I gotta
That's all good, man.
I just gotta calm down a little bit. No, dude, it was just tough, you know, because he was so young, left behind kids and a wife, and it just really opened up my eyes, you know, to what my mom had gone through, you know. And I really looked at life a whole lot differently. Like right then and there, I knew that I got to live every day like it's my last, dude. And that's kind of why I skate every day. I like to ski, dude. I'm born for the shred, dude. Straight up, dude. That's just how I roll, dude. And I don't know.
Well, and I know that having, you know, once you and I crossed paths, like, I mean, that was the thing. And that's what I think about, like, when you and I crisscrossed when the shop first opened, you know, it's like, I always will hold the people that came in early on to the shop. Like, you guys are like a whole nother group of people because you're super passionate, and you guys actually like sought us out. And man, we always joke around that the first year of the shop, it was like the pity buy era. Like people would literally come in and they would like buy a t-shirt and be like, I just, you know, I want to support, you know. It was kind of like you knew they would like look at us and they would kind of be like, I'm not saying you did this, because I think you actually believed that we would make it, but there was a lot of people that were like, all right, cool, here's, you know, we'll get a t-shirt, like, good luck, you know, like, and kind of, I mean, we actually, there's funny, we have you know, Lee.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, he was definitely one of
them that
Lee
said
that.
Dude. And Lee, if you listen to the podcast, I have no idea if you do, but Lee was like, every year he would pop in and be like, I can't believe you're here still.
Yeah, dude.
And so I always, you know, I just appreciate how passionate you guys were.
Oh, hell no, dude. Well, dude, I mean, just look at you as a whole. I mean, what you've given back to the sport, dude. I knew damn well this shop would be successful. I mean, come on, dude. You serious? Look where we
Thanks,
are.
Dude.
No, serious. Look where we are, though. We're in the Mecca, you know.
I know. Yeah, it's cool. And I've always thought that too. Like, why Utah? Because like when we opened the shop, it was almost like, people are like, it's disappearing, it's not around, you know. And I think that's what's been crazy, is like to actually watch it grow, you know.
Yeah, dude.
And then like you bring Dylan. I remember like when you first brought Dylan in, I mean, Dill, what was your first impression of the shop? I mean, you're like 8 years old. Like, do you even remember what that?
Yeah, dude. What did you think when I drug you in here, dude?
I thought it was a museum.
Hell yeah.
Just because all the skis and old stuff on the ceiling.
Yep.
That's funny.
No, I kind of let him know, though, what we were getting ourselves into. I was like, no, dude, pay attention to everything. There's a lot of history on the ceiling, dude. And that's kind of where, you know, look around, look at the walls. There's a lot of history in there. And that's one thing I do love about the shop, dude, for sure, dude.
Yeah. No,
Hell
thanks.
yeah.
I know. I feel like we've been fortunate. Like, people like just started bringing in so much stuff now that it's nuts. Like, I still feel like every day someone drops something off or mails it in, and we're always just like tripping out. Like, what? I didn't even know. Like, we were joking around the other day. Like, Dina Star used to make Telemark skis back in the early in the early 80s.
Yeah.
So you find all this stuff, and what's cool is a lot of times it's in people's garages, so it'll show up as it was in that era. So you get to see like weird binding modifications, or what binding might have gone with what ski, which is pretty cool.
Yeah,
so,
no, for sure.
Well, that's good to know you thought you were walking into a museum, Dill. What Dylan, so tell me about your first time telemark skiing. Like, I know we had our kids rentals, and I think we kind of got you set up on something. Like, what was it like going out for your first time?
It was sketchy.
Sketchy. Here, point towards the microphone a little bit.
The first time I went, I thought it was gonna be easy because my dad made it look easy. And every time I couldn't even really like slide forward. I would always just fall. And I was like, "How do you do this, Dad?" And he was like, "Here, let's go up the mountain. I'll show you." And so I just bended a couple knees. And I tried it. I fell a couple times, and then I got back up, and I did my first telemark turn.
Oh, that's awesome, man. Yeah, so it looked a lot yeah, see, that's the trick, right? Because like once people know how to do it, they make it look a lot easier than it is. And how long do you remember how long it took you before you felt like it kind of clicked?
Like a year.
Really?
A good year. So I don't know, I think last season you really shined. I couldn't believe how much you progressed last season.
Yeah, so let's see, so you're 8 and then 3 years?
Yeah, third season I'd say it really started clicking for him. I mean, the first season, I'll tell you what clicked that first season. I mean, I saw it. I don't know if he really saw it as much because he was pretty much a beginner skier. I didn't even really think to put him on telemark skis that young. Josh, you had a lot to do with that. I mean, Josh is like, "No, yeah, we'll get him set up," and I was like, "Cool, let's try it out," and I'll remember the one thing he did say to me is he couldn't believe how much more comfortable the boots were, right, Dee? Mm-hmm. You thought the boots were more comfortable, and you were pretty impressed with how you could walk around in them too as well, right? It was like a shoe. Yeah, it was like a shoe, huh? You could walk around the mountain a little bit better too. So yeah, that was a big help. But I'll tell you what really improved was his parallel turns really came together after we put him in those tele skis. He went from a pizza to a parallel, and then he just doing hockey stops and all that. And
is that kind of how you started out teaching them? Is like basically just like basic parallel stem Christie, pizza
funny,
French fries?
So this is kind of funny. So I never took a lesson, dude. I'm 100% self-taught. I read a couple of books, and one book. What book is that, dude? Oh God. Something Freeheel Skiing, but anyway.
Oh, the Paul Parker one.
Yeah, that one, exactly. Yep. So I had that book, and I read it pretty good, read it pretty thoroughly, and a couple of things I took from that book personally, like the big toe, little toe thing, and the thing that I really took from that book was how to go from a wedge turn to a telemark turn. And I started him off doing like wedge tellies.
Yeah, okay.
Really? Yeah, dude.
Like right off the bat.
Mm-hmm. Well, not really. I mean, I showed it to him, but I didn't really want to push him too hard, so I just kind of let it flow. But that's how I did. I showed him, to go from a wedge turn to a telemark turn.
Yep, totally. Yeah. No, that's a great way to do it. Did Dylan, like skiing with your dad? Do you think that's helped you a lot? Just like having a visual of like somebody doing the technique, and then you kind of were able to like watch it and figure it out.
Yeah, totally.
Oh yeah, dude, totally.
Yeah.
That's what helped me a lot, personally. I mean, like I said, I'm self-taught, but I chased Lee around, dude. I don't know if you know this, but Lee is a big part of what got me on that horse. Oh, hell yeah,
that's
dude.
Cool.
I skied with him quite a bit back in the day, and frickin' chasing him around, dude. He'd always tell me, "Don't watch me, you'll pick up on my bad habits." But dude, I'll tell you what, dude, I'm watching every damn move you make, because every time I drop a knee in anything over 2 feet, I'm going over the bars. So I got to figure this shit out,
Yep. Well, one thing watching, like you'd send videos of Dylan and is it weird that we just like your dad sends videos of you all the time, dude? He's like, "Dude, I'm so stoked. Check this out." And we're like watching, and we're all so pumped because like one thing I remember watching you, maybe like you said, like between second and third year, was, in the beginning, it was like hard, like you can, and this is like common with people, like they'll have a hard time kind of like getting the full turn, and you get kind of that weird like unbalanced thing where you can't drop your knee quite enough.
Yeah.
And then I remember seeing like stuff last year, dude, and you were like fully ripping turns, like linking turns where you were like really getting like the foot separation.
Oh yeah.
Do you remember that clicking for you?
Yeah.
What do you think it was?
It was just watching like YouTube videos of people doing it.
Is that what helped it click? That's funny,
Yeah.
dude.
What? Just like watching the repetition of it, and
Yeah.
nice. Do you remember what videos you were watching?
Freeheel Life, like documentary.
Those videos you hooked him up with. What
Oh
were they,
yeah,
dude?
yeah. We gave you some old movies
Yeah,
and stuff
dude, he
too.
watched a lot of those videos. Heck yeah.
Well, and
You know,
get-
and I've always kind of told him, you know, when you're skiing powder, you're going down a steep line, you got to kind of ski that aggressively, man. You do.
Yeah.
You really do.
Well, I remember that was one of the videos, man. You sent like, I mean, you weren't, and you're taller now than you were last year, but I remember you sent one where he's like skiing, I mean, probably 8 inches of snow, which is
Yeah.
pretty deep for him.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow, he's like ripping through this
dude.
stuff, which is not, I mean, powder's not easy, is it, Dill?
It's not that easy.
No. But it feels good, right?
Notice
Yeah.
I'm laughing over here.
Oh, man. Yeah, because
Dude, powder was my nemesis, dude. Like being self-taught, dude, that was the thing that just got me, dude. Because I was on, you know, my first setup was a pair of K2 Work Stinks, you know, so no rocker, none of that jazz. And dude, I would do fine in 8-10 inches. I was a freaking hero, dude. You get anything knee deep or whatever, dude, I don't know what the hell happened, but I went from a hero to a zero real quick, dude. I was over the bars. I was a shit show, dude. My buddy Bob, dude, it got to the point where I was in that intermediate stage, and every time I drop in, Bob would be like, hold on a minute, let me get my phone out, because, dude, I would freaking just explode.
That's so.
But I'll tell you what, though, when that clicked, dude, oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's when it happened, dude. That's when I went from a skier to a freaking skier, dude. You know, that's
Just having it click and
Oh,
just like,
dude.
well, and you, I mean, so when you first started telemarking, did you go straight to Snowbird then at that point?
My first day on tellies was at Brighton, believe it or not, dude. I had a buddy that worked up there in the rental shop, and he got me a free rental for the day, dude. And you know what's funny? That week, dude, I got my first setup, dude. So that rental turned it on, dude. That was it, dude.
Yep.
And I wasn't necessarily making turn. That was a weird day. I'll never forget that day. It was crazy.
That's a good point, and that was a lot of, yeah. I like that you made that point, because obviously that was like a huge thing when we were trying to get rentals going here. I was like, that's the missing link everywhere.
Oh,
like,
dude,
if you
back
can
when I
try
first
it-
started, yeah, that was the thing. I got into telemark skiing, what was it, like 2004? 2000, yeah, it was probably 2004, dude, and it was going off then, dude. You
Yeah.
could walk into any ski shop and get just about anything. Seriously, you know, my setup came from Kirkham's.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, Boots and all.
R.I.P. Kirkham's.
Yep, dude.
Yeah, they did a lot of cool programs. They had like Telly Tuesday rental. I think they actually did free rentals at
Well,
one
yeah,
point.
so okay, we'll take it back. So I did that first rental at Brighton, and so did I get? I don't know. I remember renting from Kirkham's once, and then I think it was after that is when I got my first setup. But yeah, I did. I rented a setup from Kirkham's one time.
Yeah.
So, totally.
Well, that brings up a really good point. I mean, like, that's, you know, access to a rental helped you get into it. I mean, like we've talked with Dill, I mean, that's the thing, like, with just even having kids gear,
Yeah.
I think like a lot of parents, right? Like, I mean, even to this day, people are still like, wait, you can get kids stuff? And I mean, it's like, Dill, like, the fact that you were able to like have the gear obviously makes it more interesting to try it. Like, can you imagine if you just didn't even have equipment available? Like, would you really want to get into it?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, seriously.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's something I think we've tried to do too, is just like get people to think about it. And I always say, like,
Well, you know, and I want to make one huge point, dude, because I was that person at first. I was like, I always thought this one thing, you know, you have to be a decent alpine skier before you're a telemark skier, or before you try to take up telemark skiing. You better be a decent alpine skier. So that was the biggest curveball for me when you were like, no, dude, you should try this out.
yeah.
And that's when I learned right then and there, dude. I think my son Tyson, I've only had him out a couple of times because of his asthma, and we've had a couple of strange years, and I honestly think I'm going to try and throw him in some tele equipment right out the gate, dude.
And how old is he?
He'll be 7 when I get him on skis.
So
He's 6 now, but he'll be 7 when I get him on skis.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that is kind of an interesting thing, and it's like people think you have to be a certain level of alpine skier to like try telly, but you really can learn, like we were talking about you, Dylan. Like you learn how to parallel turn too.
Oh yeah.
I did better parallel on Telemark.
Better parallel turns on his telly skis for sure. That's what I said when it clicked.
Really?
Yeah, dude.
Why do you think that is?
You're just looser. You feel like you could do more.
Oh, interesting.
I don't know if it's like a balance thing too.
Yeah, like almost like because your heel has a little give to it, maybe it just feels more comfortable to you.
Yeah.
Huh. That's interesting. Yeah, no, I think that people kind of forget that. Like with kids, it's like you're gonna learn pizza French fries, you're gonna learn parallel, you're gonna learn wedge telemark, and then eventually you have all of those. Because we all know, like, whether we talk about it or not, everyone's going to use parallel turns at some point.
You got to.
Yeah.
It makes you a good, well-rounded telemark skier to be able to use all the techniques.
For sure, man.
So
I don't know though. I tend to be one of them persons, dude. I like to drop a knee on every damn turn, but
no,
I'm one of them, dude. I seriously am. But no, dude, I'll definitely use a parallel turn here and there if I got to.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Especially if it's really firm, crunchy snow, dude. You got to survival ski every now and then.
Totally. Yeah, sometimes you got to throw that little speed check in. So I mean, you guys skiing the Bird the last couple years, I mean, that's some big terrain too, especially like to take Dylan on.
I know, dude.
Yeah.
Dill, what was that like? Like some of that big stuff on the circ and stuff. I mean, were you getting into that, or mostly just sticking to groomers, or do you like moguls? Like
sticking to groomers, and then I went to moguls the first time, and it was kind of sketchy, and then I kind of learned it.
Yeah. Do you like moguls?
Yeah.
He likes moguls, dude.
Okay, cool.
He does.
I feel like kind of moguls went out of style for a while, so I was kind of curious if you like those.
No, he does.
What do you think moguls? Do they teach you? Like, what was the hardest part about learning moguls for you?
It was like going over it and then like falling at the very end. 'Cause you're going too fast, or you can like you hit it wrong way, get bucked over.
Yeah, getting that rhythm right. Like
yeah, it's hard to get the rhythm.
Yeah, it's like once you get in the rhythm, and then if you get out of the rhythm, it's like all of a sudden you're like running across like the whole mogul field, like trying to stop.
Yeah,
you know,
it's like a racetrack.
Totally, man. Well, that's cool. But if you had to pick one thing, what's your favorite? What type of skiing's your favorite?
Wait, what?
If you had to pick like one day, like condition wise, like moguls, powder, like big mountain, do you have like a favorite type of day?
Sunny.
Like sunny powder, it's not bluebird sunny powder days or what?
Yeah.
Do you like powder snow? Do you like groomers? What do you like, dude? Come on, get it out there.
I like groomers.
You like groomers?
Like the
See,
groomers?
I'm actually a groomer guy too. A lot of people don't want to say that, but I like groomers too. I mean, powder day, of course, but there's nothing, ripping groomers fast too. It's fun. So, well, that's cool. So, I think one of the coolest parts about meeting you guys is seeing, and you said this to me a couple of times, Travi, like, it's like, just like seeing you guys get out together.
Oh, dude.
That's been like my number one thing. I think me and Taylor, like Ashley, when we're once we started seeing you guys get out, and you guys have even been hiking together in the backcountry.
Oh, yeah.
I know, I remember seeing that first picture where maybe you guys took that easy hike, maybe up Grizzly or something.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, this is so cool. Like now they're like out hiking. You got a little skin set up. Like,
oh, dude.
How has it been? Just like kind of learning these different aspects of getting in the mountains together.
Dude, it's been so much fun. I mean, me growing up without a dad, dude, I don't take a single thing for granted, dude. I appreciate and love every aspect of everything we do together, dude. I'm not gonna lie, dude. So it's been a lot of fun, and I've had to dial it back a little bit, and skiing with kids, you got to develop a few techniques that work for you, moving equipment around and packing kids around. I don't know, it's just kind of funny, but yeah, dude, I got him a backcountry setup and scans, shovel, beak, and probe. We've done beacon searches together. I've kind of showed him some things, and I'm kind of anxious to get out here in the next couple of weeks just so we can dig a hole and I can really show him what some weak snow looks like and that kind of stuff. I do pass the knowledge along to him that I know. I've always kind of been somewhat of a snow geek, and it's kind of crazy, you know, and that's something that dates back, you know, prior to Telemark skiing, dude. I had the Avalanche handbook when I was pretty young, dude, and I read that damn thing. You know, I know quite a bit more than you would honestly think just looking at me, dude. It's pretty wild. So I do try to share the knowledge with him, but I don't want to cram it.
Yeah.
You know, just point out the obvious stuff, you know, when we're hiking on the up. Hey, look at that over there. That's a cornice. Or, hey, look, that slit over there, you know.
Totally.
That's on a north-facing aspect.
Just being out there.
Just kind of pointing stuff out to him, you know, right now, you know. It's just stuff like that. But, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's probably a good thing to ask you is, I mean, it's probably more important that it's fun than getting too crazy and having to, like, you don't want to be in school all the time, right?
Yeah.
No, and that's one thing I've always done with the kids, man. You got to keep skiing fun, dude.
Yep.
It's one thing I always cringe on when you see that parent and the kid's just miserable and the dad's like, come on. You know, I'm just like, dude, sit down. Get some hot chocolate, some gummy bears, dude. If you're going to do one run, it's one run day, dude. Do one run.
Just hang out.
Yeah.
Totally.
You know, so.
Yeah, I mean, that's a big thing. I mean, I think people lose focus sometimes on it. You know, it's like when I see you guys skating together, that's why going back to that, like, I like that you guys are just like hanging out. You're at the skate park. You know, you might film each other on some runs. You guys are cruising the bowls. Like, you know, you're learning how to air out of the bowl or something. Like, I mean, even as an outsider, that's what I like watching with you guys skiing and skating is I'm like, this is rad. You guys just look like two buddies hanging out.
Oh, I know. And that's kind of how it feels too, man. It's not like having a son. It's like having a friend.
I love that, man. That's so
get
cool.
his ass out of bed and come on, dude, let's go.
Yeah, your dad's probably used to getting up earlier than you are, isn't he?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, I'm one of them, dude. It's funny. I kind of live by this motto. You know, I'm up till midnight every night, and I'm up at 5:30 every morning, dude. My wife thinks I'm crazy, you know, and I just live by the motto, dude. I got plenty of time to sleep when I'm dead. So, like I said, I'm born to shred.
Born to shred. I love it. I love that.
Oh, serious, dude. It's funny.
Well, one thing I wanted to get into, I know people are going to be interested in is like what type of gear you're using, Dylan, you know, because as funny as it may seem to you, is a lot of people, like we said, a lot of kids don't know you can telemark ski. And so I thought it might be cool to we could even try to think back to some of the first setups and then kind of what you were skiing on the last year or so. And do you remember like which bindings and skis you're on this year, or that you had last year, I guess, because you haven't skied a whole lot this year? I think was it the G3 Targa that we had on?
Yeah, he's got a pair of Targas on a pair of bent Shettlers.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And then a pair of Eric Pollards with some Volet switchbacks.
Oh, for
minor modifications.
Yeah. What kind of modifications?
So
did you
on
have
the
to do?
switchback, dude, all we had to do. Now that's the thing. That's where we kind of, when they're young, when they're in like the size. What was the smallest boot size? Like a 19.5.
19 Mondo.
Yeah, 19. So when we were down that small, I think we were still able to do we didn't have to do a Volet 3-pin. He was still strong enough to drop a knee or whatever. It wasn't too bad.
We put the Volet 3-pin cable probably or something.
It was just a Volet cable bind. It didn't have the 3-pin.
Oh, it's just the cable?
Just the cable binding.
Okay. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Totally. And then from that's when he moved up to the G3 Targa. The G3 Targa L, the woman's version.
Yeah. That green one.
Yeah. We turn them in, or they're blue. Or are they green?
Oh, no, yeah, you're right.
Blue.
The blue ones.
That's right, totally. But yeah, just twist them up and turn them in, and they'll go in far enough for, I think.
And those Targas actually work. I mean, Dill, they've worked well for you, right?
Yeah.
Oh, dude, I think Targa's an awesome setup for a kid. I know a lot of people mock them, but dude, I mean,
there's not a lot of resistance.
No, dude.
So that's the good thing.
And I think when I put him in the switchbacks, it was kind of weird for him at first because the resistance was there. You know what I mean? I think he'll do better with them now because obviously the kid sprouted like a freaking weed. So I think he'll have a little bit more fun on the switchback this year. You know what I mean? So
that's a good point. And I that is a good use, you know, and it would joke around because like on the podcast, like I think me and Dossie said something about Targas not being like, you know, there's no tour mode on them on the old ones, and people were like, no, we love our Targas. So for all you Targa lovers out there, we still love the Targas, and here's a great use for it. But yeah,
we even tour on the Targa though, because the L setup, we got the hill lifters for it, and the frickin' the hill piece actually has that little clip on it, and you just half cock the
put it
hill
down.
piece, and it gives you a little bit more resistance for touring.
And that's the thing with the...
But you can lose a ski, so you definitely want to use leashes
Oh.
when you're running that mode, because he'll pop a ski off every now and then.
I know what
if
you're
got
talking
it.
about, like
Yeah.
where you latch down the back part.
Yeah, like
Yep.
totally.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I do when we tour around on those things. But he does all right on those. I mean, I think the first time I took him out, we were going to go up Grizzly, and they had it closed for some reason. So his first tour, dude, we went up Flagstaff.
Oh, wow.
Believe it or not, dude. And it was kind of funny, dude. So he went about 3/4 of the way to the top. We didn't go all the way to the top, but he was doing switchbacks with me on those frickin' G3 Targas.
Yeah. That's a great... Man, I'm glad we're talking about this, because that really reminds me about, like, the fact that if we had more... A binding like that would be really good to get a lot more kids into it, because you don't need a lot of resistance. And like you were saying, sometimes when they're really small, they're not heavy enough, and so we will put them on 3-pin stuff.
Yeah, no, totally.
And kids just shuffle around. They can still alpine turn on it and stuff like that. But having that cable, I think, takes it to the next level. And
oh, yeah.
Dill, did you notice? So, like when we were talking about switchbacks, did you notice? And for those of you that are still new to Telly, the switchback from Volet has a touring mechanism, but instead of the soft cable that kind of has some lateral twist to it, it has a hard wire.
Yeah.
And that's probably what did that feel pretty different to you when you were skiing it?
Yeah. It was like every time I went to a switchback, I always got stuck or slide back.
I think he just had more stability there. So it was almost, at first, it was almost like he was overcorrecting his turns, because it just had more, more. I don't know. It was kind of weird at first.
Just because it was stiffer side to side,
Yeah.
maybe?
Yeah.
Huh. Was it like harder to ski, you think? Or like eventually you just kind of figured it out?
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you like the tour mode? Did you notice the difference when you've got
Yeah, you can walk around a lot easier on those.
Yeah.
like where you
Right.
switch the front?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So you like that?
That helps out a lot.
Yeah.
For sure.
So what did you guys have to, I can't remember. Did you guys have to modify the length of that? The hard wires?
So no. So is what we did. I thought we were going to have to like thread them or cut them and rethread them or something, but is what I was able to do is just go to like the women's style cartridge, because they go down a little bit shorter, the green ones.
That's right. Okay. Yeah, the women's.
So, and then that could have also been part of what was kind of messing with them a little bit, starting off brand new stiff cartridges.
that would make sense.
But I honestly think as he's skied them, they've kind of loosened up a little bit, and he's gotten, it just seems to me he's gotten a little better on them. So
For sure. That's a good point. Yeah, and I know.
But now with him having the weight that he does and the height that he does, I'm anxious to see what happens this season, dude.
Totally. I know, because it's like, and yeah, just like kids growing, like that's what we've got for those of you that are new to the shop, like we've got a kids season rental program, so you can like basically size up as you need to,
Yeah.
and I think that's important, because like literally, how would you grow like 6 inches over the summer, Dill?
Yeah.
Dude, at least, bro, at least. I'm starting to get nervous.
I know all of a sudden he's gonna be bigger than you.
But no, yeah, that kid season rental program is the jam, dude. I mean, I couldn't have done it without it. I mean, this kid, he went up an entire boot size every season, dude. I couldn't imagine
Yeah.
having to buy a new pair of boots for this kid every season. You're looking at a dude that's had the same pair of boots for the last, I don't know how long.
I know. And oh yeah, and that's a cool little information nugget. You're on Telly Tay's boots from when he was a kid right now, aren't you?
Yeah.
Dude.
That's pretty cool, man.
And I think those boots were part of what happened last season as far as just progression goes, because, dude, last season, I mean, it's funny to think, because with the COVID thing, but, dude, we only got 25 days at the Bird. If you look at the video from day one to the end, dude, holy shit, dude, that kid
just crushed it.
I don't know if it was the boot being a little bit more burly or what, or just, it was probably a combination of everything, of him growing and yada yada, but, dude, last season was pretty wild.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Well, and because I think
dude, it got to the point to where I was all about watching this kid ski. I would ski through the trees, through snow, to get out ahead of him, just so I could get a video of this kid crushing the powder, dude. If that tells you anything, dude.
I love that.
Oh man.
Well, that's because didn't we have him on? Dill, were you on the Teledactyl the first year? That's the orange boot or the black ones. I think, is that what we had the first year?
He was on the black ones the first year.
Yeah, the little Garmont, the Garmont G-Rex.
The G-Rex. He was always on the G-Rex, and then he went to Tay's boot.
Yeah, and so, yeah, Telly Tay's famous yellow boot from when he was a kid is like it's like an old Gara, I think, or something like that. Anyways, maybe I'll throw a photo up or something.
Yeah.
And, but yeah, that's pretty cool because Telly Tay, when he was like your age, had that boot, and then he realized he brought those in, and I remember he's like, I think these will fit Dylan, and I was like, no way, and there you go. So now we got the Telly Tay and the Telly Dill, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. Dilski
801. I love that.
Yeah, dude.
Man, that's awesome, you guys. Well, do you guys, I know, man, what a weird start to this year. I know.
Oh, I know.
There's barely any snow. It's snowing this morning, so hopefully that'll add to it. But are you guys going to plan on doing some more hiking this year?
No, absolutely, dude. With the whole COVID thing, I just decided this year probably just wasn't the year to ski. I mean, I don't know, dude. Just too many, this is my opinion, just too many restrictions. And I don't know, dude. To me, it's just not the year for it. So I just decided, you know what, dude? We're just going to hike this season. We'll get a couple resort days in, I'm sure, but frickin' that's kind of my plan, dude. I want to get out and do some hiking.
Yeah, so I think so too. Are you cool with doing a little bit of hiking, Dylan?
Yeah, 2 times every week.
Oh,
is that what he said?
Oh, 2 times every week. Oh, yeah, there you go, buddy.
You messed up, dude.
Yeah. Your dad was probably thinking like, man, I hope I can get him out like once a month.
Well, that's the thing. With his age, I'm like, damn, that's kind of a tough call for me to make because I don't want him to get burned out at all. So, I think for me, dude, I kind of want to move on and kind of explore some different terrain, like the northern Wasatch, southern Wasatch. Dude, I've even had my eye on the Ochres, and I don't know, dude. This season, it's going to be kind of weird to see what happens. I mean, we got some weak layers that aren't looking too promising, like, persistent weak layers, so they could be a problem for most of the season. So I'm looking more forward to the spring than anything, but we'll kind of see how it goes, dude.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, it definitely could affect like the terrain that people are going to be able to really ski mid-season. So, well, that's cool, you guys. Well, I'm psyched that you guys came in and we got to talk about stuff. Thanks for sharing the story. I always love seeing you guys, and hopefully out there this has been good for. I think this has been great for people to hear like your guys's. One, I love hearing about your relationship because I know how important that is.
Dude, it's so fun.
You guys to get out and do skiing, but also just to hear like it's good to get your insight, Dylan, on your gear choices. So it's people are going to eat that up, man. Be aware. So thanks for coming on, you guys. I guess we'll have to do this again sometime if you guys are down.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, guys. Well, we'll catch you later, and thanks for being here.
Hell yeah, thanks for having us, Josh. It was a real fun time. It was awesome.
Thanks, Dylan.
Thank you.
All right, see you guys. That was great being able to connect with those guys and do it in person. Like I was saying, it's kind of been weird because I'm only talking to people on WhatsApp or the phone or what have you, but Travis and Dylan have been amazing supporters of the shop here in Salt Lake, and this truly is a family that we've been able to build here, not only with our shop employees but with our customers, and not just with the people locally, but people like Travis have been literally here since the beginning and have supported my vision for this thing, and have supported my employees and have become good friends. And I think that's, like we always talk about, one of the coolest parts of Telemark skiing is there's a camaraderie to this thing that doesn't exist anywhere else. It's one of a kind. And I really appreciated Travis sharing his story about getting into Telemark and how that all came to be. And I especially love that we could have Dylan here and really hear it from a young person about what it's like to get into Telemark, some of the challenges, what kind of gear he's using. And that for me is an incredibly important part of this. like I'm always saying, people are always asking, how do we grow Telemark? Well, one of the most important ways is teaching young people, showing them it's possible, and showing them that, there is equipment available and it's cool. And, so it's great to have somebody, somebody young that could come on, and I really appreciate him taking the time to talk to us and explain stuff from his perspective, because that's the best way to understand it, is not be an old adult trying to say how we should get kids into telly. I think it's great to hear it from him himself. So thanks for listening. I hope you guys enjoyed that one. As always, sign up for the mailing list. That's the best way to stay in contact with us on a weekly basis. This is our communication with you as a customer or someone who's interested in what we're doing. We don't share it with anybody. It's a way for us to grow our knowledge, hopefully help you as a customer, and really just connect with you on a regular basis. So you can sign up for that in the link in the show notes. Also, how you can support us: you can always make a donation of your choice to paypal.me/Freeheel Life. We don't use sponsors or anything for the podcast. It's a vehicle to help us promote what we're doing out there, and especially the shop. And hopefully that's a way to get your Telemark gear and provide provide great service for you. But I know that some of you out there have made small donations. They do not go unnoticed. Thank you very much. I very, very much appreciate it. And, it just helps cover the time that we're doing. So as I mentioned, you can always shop with us at freeheellife.com. We've still got plenty of gear for the Telemark season, used gear, new gear, and really we want to just be your preferred Telemark shop above all else. And, make us work for it. That's what we like. We want to be sharp and knowledgeable and earn your trust and earn your respect. And that's how we want to do business. So we hope you'll give us a chance if you're not already a customer. And we are always happy to answer the phone, or you can email us at customerservice@freeheellife.com, and one of us will answer your questions. And we just hope to build a relationship with you, just like we did with Travis and everyone else that we've met over the past 5.5 years. So we hope you'll give us that opportunity to be your shop, and hopefully we can make a lifelong customer out of you. Like I said at the beginning of the podcast, articles on telemarkskier.com. There's a great new simple binding guide up there. You'll also have access to past content and all the good stuff. So email me direct, podcast@freeheellife.com. I think there's a mailbag episode in the near future. So if you got questions, or maybe I missed something in a podcast or whatnot, feel free to reach out there. Would love to tackle some more questions, and I love hearing the feedback about what you're up to. That's always amazing. So thanks for listening. If you have a second, please rate and review the podcast on Apple Podcasts. That helps kind of keep it out in front of people. And until next week, spread Telemark always, my friends. Peace out.